This 100 Old Photos Show History from the Other Side, Part 2. Women Boxing on a Rooftop, 1938. Grandmother mending the only pair of pants for her grandson, photo taken in 1907. A couple dancing on ice skates at Whitestone Pond, Hampstead, London, 1933. Nineteenth-century Halloween costumes. The Romanov family jewels, including the iconic Fabergé eggs, were showcased to foreign diplomats and the press before being auctioned off in 1925. 2 children. Lips that touch booze will never touch ours. Anti-alcohol advocates from 1919 standing firm on their beliefs. The Snow Queen, 1892. A portable confession booth in the USA during the 1940s, because spiritual needs can be mobile too. A Leisurely Afternoon of Irish Fishermen, 1910. A men's beauty contest from 1919, who said grooming competitions were just for women. The Witch Society of 1875. Victorian-style workouts. Apparently, you needed to show up in full formal attire to really see progress. The Life of a Cat on the Farm, 1951. Stephen King, welcoming visitors to his new Victorian-style mansion, guarded by spooky, bat-shaped gates, 1982. A Young Noblewoman, 1910. A New York construction worker casually walking along a steel beam high above the city streets, circa 1950. Photographer above the sky of Berlin, 1912. An adrenaline-packed vertical race, a popular entertainment in India during the 1970s. "100 years ago, even window washers wore suits." The Gadget, the very first atomic bomb, 1945. Homeschooling at a mother's house in Transylvania, Louisiana, 1937. Wine reserves of the French Army during World War I, 1915. A portrait of a woman sneezing. Female athletes, at the beginning of the 20th century, redefining what women could achieve. Leola King, the first female traffic officer in the U.S., 1918. French women working the fields to support the war effort, 1915. A Real Japanese Samurai, 1866. A Canadian officer protecting a pharmacy from looters during a major flood in 1974. A tavern allowing children to drink their own child-sized beer, Wisconsin, USA, 1890. The Amos Keag steam-powered fire engine from 1897, weighing an impressive 17,000 pounds, in action in Boston, 1919. A Tattooed Family, 1910. A worker at Livermore National Laboratory, opening the world's heaviest hinged door. One of the earliest original selfie photos taken with a stick, 1934. The Colossi of Memnon in Thebes, Egypt, captured in all their glory in 1880. An early prototype of a bulletproof vest designed for police forces in Germany, 1930. Mr. Hardy, cruising around London in a zebra-drawn carriage. Talk about a unique ride. 1898. A couple with combined weight of 458 kilo, 28 4 kilo, and 174 kilo, taking a carriage ride in Germany, 1912. The Hoover electric vacuum cleaner, first introduced between 1908 and 1909. The Titanic during its construction phase. A 305 millimeters Italian howitzer captured by German Austro-Hungarian forces, likely in 1917. A family-friendly bicycle design from 1939. Margaret Bourke-White, 1904-1971. One of the most groundbreaking photographers of her time, shattering gender norms. The first ever photo of a simultaneous triple finish in a horse race, New Jersey, 1954. Dust is death, a bold slogan on a street cleaning truck in St. Louis, 1916. Brooklyn Supreme, one of the largest horses in history, standing at 6'6" and weighing 3,200 pounds in the 1930s. Dinosaur footprints extracted from limestone in Texas and put up for sale in 1954. The last known photograph of a Tasmanian tiger, thylacine, taken in 1933. One of the last photographs of Charlie Chaplin, taken in 1977. Bobby Leach, the first man to survive going over Niagara Falls in a barrel, 1911. A royal fish-shaped boat from India, 1857. a two-seater reconnaissance seaplane that crashed into the roof of a building in Germany, 1918-1919. The BMW Schneekrad, a snow-track motorcycle built using the Stieb TR500 as its base. A cheerful British soldier showing off his dented helmet, 1917. Extreme stairway descent on a penny farthing bicycle, 1885. A Mexican farmer standing beside an ancient Mayan stone with animal carvings, 1880s. A bridge over the Kerch Strait, built by the Germans in Crimea, 1943. A Parisian pedestrian shovel car designed in 1924 to reduce accidents involving pedestrians. A picnic at the California Alligator Farm in Los Angeles, where visitors mingled with trained alligators, 1907-1953. The Roman Colosseum alongside the Arch of Constantine, as they appeared in 1870. On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers made history with the first ever powered flight in Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. A century ago, it was considered indecent for men to bare their chests at the beach. The iconic Hoa Hakananaya Moai statue, removed from Easter Island on November 7, 1868. The construction of the Eiffel Tower, July 1888. Lord Nelson's flagship, HMS Foudroyant, which tragically wrecked off Blackpool in 1897. A woman using a vending machine to buy items after store hours, London, circa 1920. The impressive megaliths of Bada Valley, surrounded by hundreds of ancient statues, photographed around 1930. Phone theft prevention in the UK at the end of the 19th century. The Iron Man suit, designed with electrical charging and pressure protection systems. New York, 1907. Los Angeles police stopping an ostrich cart for speeding, 1930. Johan Petersen, famously known as the Viking Giant. One of the earliest selfies, taken in 1920. A woman using an innovative dog-holding device in the USA, 1940s. The Titanic's massive propellers, photographed in 1911. American troops operating a newly developed acoustic locator on a wheeled platform. A Victorian-era woman posing with teacups on her chest. Art or practicality? 1870s. Bertha Benz, the wife of automotive pioneer Carl Benz and the world's first ever female driver, 1888. Daredevil acrobat Betty Fox, performing on the roof of the Fort Shelby Hotel in Michigan, 1945. The first limousine, France, 1910. These rare photos unveil untold stories from history. The Tunguska event, a mysterious explosion. On June 17, 1908, a fiery ball exploded over the Krasnoyarsk territory in Siberia, causing a blast so powerful it was heard up to 1,000 kilometers away. The explosion, with an estimated force of 10 to 40 megatons, flattened over 2,000 square kilometers of forest. Strange glows and silver clouds were observed across the northern hemisphere. Despite its massive impact, the cause remained a mystery for over a decade. An expedition in 1921 found no meteorite fragments, and over 70 theories, including one involving Nikola Tesla, have been proposed, but the true cause is still unknown. This photograph was taken during the Spanish flu pandemic, which swept across the globe from 1918 to 1920. While the exact origin of the virus remains unclear, one of the first cases was recorded in Kansas. The name Spanish flu is misleading, as Spain was the first to publicly report the outbreak, being neutral in World War I. The pandemic infected about 550 million people worldwide, with death toll estimates ranging from 25 to 100 million, mainly due to severe pneumonia. The image of a family wearing masks during this time resonates with those who lived through the global coronavirus pandemic, where similar mask mandates were enforced. Unusual and creepy early inventions in diving. This photograph features one of the oldest wetsuits from the 18th century, made from cowhide and soaked in a mixture of pig fat and resin. This eerie-looking suit was fully waterproof, with seams sealed using waxed thread and resin. Divers would enter through an opening in the front, while air was supplied through wooden pipes and a piston pump, making this early diving technology both innovative and somewhat unsettling. Today, this wetsuit is part of the collection at the Finnish Museum of Ahi. The girl's face in this photograph appears unsettling due to the strange mask-like cap she's wearing. In fact, it's a swimming cap from 1928, designed to protect the skin while swimming outdoors. During the 1920s and 1930s, swimming gained popularity, and accessories like this cap were introduced. The idea was to shield the face from harmful sun rays, as the body stays submerged while the head remains exposed. While the concept was practical, few people were willing to wear such an unusual cap, making it a short-lived trend. The legend of the Codex Gigas. The Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, is a colossal manuscript created in the 12th century. Weighing 75 kilograms and measuring nearly 90 centimeters tall, the book contains 310 pages of text. While it's believed that it took the author 20 to 30 years to complete, a legendary tale claims it was written in a single night. According to the story, a sinful Benedictine monk, condemned to be walled up in the monastery, made a desperate pact with the devil. In exchange for completing a monumental work in one night, the monk enlisted Satan's help, who not only assisted him, but also left his image in the book as proof. This chilling legend, and the devil's portrait in the manuscript, continue to add to the Codex Gigas mystique. The Man in the Iron Mask, a mysterious prisoner of Louis XIV, was locked away in 1669 and held in secrecy for 34 years. Guarded by Bénigne d'Auvergne de Saint-Marc, the prisoner wore a mask and was never seen by others. Known only as Eustache Dauguerre, his true identity and the reason for his arrest remain unknown. Some speculate he might have been Louis XIV's twin brother, a theory popularized by Alexandre Dumas in his novel The Vicomte de Bragelonne, and later in The Prisoner of the Bastille. The prisoner died on November 19, 1703, and his belongings were destroyed, preserving the enigma surrounding him. The Secret Wrestler. A girl shared a photograph of her grandmother on social media, recalling an odd detail she discovered while looking through a family album. In the picture, Her young grandmother sat on a chair holding a gun in one hand, while the other hand showed traces of white powder resembling talc. When the granddaughter asked about it, her grandmother revealed a surprising secret. She had secretly practiced wrestling. Despite her delicate beauty, she was skilled at holding her own in fights against men. Harriet Cowell, a woman who worked as a cleaner at Hahnemann Medical College in San Francisco, made a significant and unusual contribution to the field of medicine. At the age of 35, she died from tuberculosis in 1888 and bequeathed her body to science. Her body was used by Professor Rufus Weaver, an anatomy professor, to create an extraordinary teaching aid. Over an extended period, Weaver painstakingly separated the nervous system from Cowell's body, eventually mounting it on a stand to serve as a model for his students. This meticulous work sparked immense interest from other medical professors, leading to the nervous system model being showcased at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition, where Weaver received a medal and the Blue Ribbon Scientific Award. Grigory Rasputin, the enigmatic Russian mystic, captured in these photos with his wild eyes and bearded appearance, became a notorious figure in Russian history. Known for gaining the trust of the Romanov family, Rasputin portrayed himself as a healer and seer. Despite his disreputable lifestyle, he gained the favor of many wealthy women and, eventually, the Romanovs. His real claim to fame came when he helped alleviate the suffering of Tsar Nicholas II's son, Alexei, who had hemophilia, possibly using hypnosis. Rasputin also predicted his own death and the royal family's tragic fate. On December 29, 1916, a group of nobles, including the Tsar's cousin, assassinated him. Less than 2 years later, Nicholas II and his family were executed, fulfilling Rasputin's eerie prophecy. The Bison Massacre. This photograph shows American hunters proudly standing before a massive pile of bison skulls, raising the question, what is there to be proud of? What seems like hunting was actually part of a calculated extermination. In the 1830s, U.S. authorities orchestrated the mass killing of bison to undermine Native American societies, who relied on bison for sustenance. While Native Americans hunted bison for survival, the U.S. government's plan aimed to destroy their primary food source. By the 1860s, bison killings were rampant, with over 2.5 million animals slaughtered annually. What began as a way to process meat turned into senseless slaughter, including the gruesome practice of shooting bison from train windows. Over 40 years, more than 75 million bison were killed, an unimaginable loss of life. The Zodiac Killer, a mystery unsolved. Between 1968 and 1969, the Zodiac Killer committed 7 confirmed attacks, resulting in 5 deaths. He taunted the media with cryptic letters, signing them as Zodiac, and leaving a symbol resembling a Celtic cross at crime scenes. These letters often included ciphers that were said to hide personal information. While some ciphers were decoded, others remain unsolved. The first, a 408-character cipher, was cracked by 2 school teachers and revealed the Zodiac's twisted pleasure in killing, claiming to gather slaves for the afterlife. The second cipher, decrypted in 2020, contained similar cryptic words but no new clues. Despite various suspects and extensive investigation, the Zodiac's identity remains unknown, and the case continues to baffle authorities. Silent elegance. In this early 20th century photograph, 2 women stand with stern expressions, their long, flowing hair and elegant dresses giving them an eerie appearance. The image immediately brings to mind the haunting figure of Sadako Yamamura from the Japanese horror film The Ring, known for her long hair and loose dress. While long hair is rare to see nowadays, it once symbolized beauty, femininity, and even strength, as many believed it held spiritual energy. In the past, married women styled their hair when leaving the house, and only young girls were seen with loose hair. These women's thick, beautiful hair suggests they took great pride in it, and perhaps, had they been smiling, the photograph would have felt less unsettling. This photograph captures a chilling moment in history. Children wearing Mickey Mouse masks before the first screening of Steamboat Willie on November 18, 1928. Though the character had already appeared in Plain Crazy earlier that year, the excitement surrounding Mickey's debut in the theater was palpable. Children eagerly anticipated the screening, donning mouse masks for the occasion. The eerie black and white snapshot of these masked children with their unsettling expressions could easily be mistaken for a scene from a horror film, offering a stark contrast to the cheerful, iconic image of Mickey Mouse that would come to dominate pop culture. This bizarre photograph from 1930 shows participants of California's Most Beautiful Eyes contest. To highlight their eyes, women wore masks similar to Hannibal Lecter's, covering the rest of their faces. The choice of mask design remains a mystery, but the result was a strange blend of both creepy and comical. Despite the oddity, the contest continued for several years, with the masks eventually replaced by scarves covering the lower face. It's a quirky glimpse into a beauty competition that focused on eyes in the most unusual way. The Unseen Pedestrians of Boulevard du Temple. This 1838 photograph, taken by French photographer Louis Daguerre, captures the Boulevard du Temple in Paris. Though the photo has been known for years, it gained renewed attention recently thanks to a sharp-eyed blogger, Gig Turman, who noticed two black spots resembling human figures in the lower left corner. Researchers from the University of Rochester investigated further and confirmed that these figures were indeed people. It turns out that Daguerre inadvertently captured a pedestrian and a shoe shiner, both of whom were stationary. The mystery lies in how only these two individuals appeared clearly in the shot, while the bustling boulevard seemed empty. The answer comes from the long exposure times used in early photography. Since the two people remained still, they were captured in focus, while the rest of the crowd blurred due to movement during the lengthy exposure. A chilling discovery was made during renovations in Valdosta, Georgia, when workers found thousands of human teeth hidden in the walls of an old building. The building once housed a dental office run by Dr. Clarence Whittington. While it's unclear why he, or other dentists, might have hidden teeth in the walls, some speculate it was a bizarre method of disposal. Oddly enough, similar finds have been reported in other buildings in Valdosta and Carrollton, adding to the mystery of this unsettling practice. Inside the steel pipe. A glimpse of Hoover Dam's creation. This iconic 1935 photograph captures executives inside a massive steel pipe suspended over what would become the Hoover Dam. The dam, completed in 1936, stands as a testament to American engineering, controlling the Colorado River and providing water to Southern California. Stretching 379.8 meters in length and 221 meters in height, it created Lake Mead, the largest reservoir in the U.S. With over 5,000 workers and a cost of $49 million, about $1 billion today, the Hoover Dam remains a marvel of innovation, generating 274 megawatts of power. Giants of the forest. These photographs may appear to show dwarfs instead of ordinary lumberjacks, but the illusion is due to the colossal size of the sequoia trees in the background. In the second half of the 19th century, California's territory was still being explored. The gold rush had subsided, but the pursuit of wealth continued, leading gold miners to retrain as lumberjacks in the 1850s. California's vast sequoia forests, covering over 8,000 square kilometers, began to be felled, and by the mid-20th century, fewer than 500 sequoias remained. Sequoias are true giants, with some reaching over 100 meters in height. The tallest, Hyperion, stands at just over 115 meters, while the largest by volume, Del Norte Titan, has a diameter of 7.122 meters. Today, the Sequoia National Park on the western slope of the Sierra Nevada helps preserve these awe-inspiring trees. Terrifying masks of Halloween's dark past. All Saints' Eve, now known as Halloween, was once a time when spirits were believed to return to Earth. In the 16th century, people wore eerie masks and went door to door for treats. Over time, costumes shifted away from their spooky origins, with modern parties featuring everything from superheroes to anime characters. However, this 1930s photo shows how terrifying Halloween costumes once were. Massive masks of evil figures, animals, and even a sinister Mickey Mouse would surely have been frightening, especially in black and white. Imagine encountering one of these haunting figures at night. It would have been truly terrifying. The Mysterious Letters of Emma Hawke. Emma Hawke, a woman suffering from schizophrenia, wrote a series of peculiar letters to her husband, each one containing the repeated phrase, "Come to me," written continuously without spaces. At 30, Emma experienced a nervous breakdown and began to suffer from hallucinations. Despite receiving treatment, she relapsed and spent many years in a psychiatric hospital. During her confinement, Emma dedicated herself to writing these strange letters, but she never sent them or asked to see her husband. Her letters, preserved in psychiatrist Hans Prinzhorn's collection, serve as a haunting example of the creativity often found in those with mental illness, shedding light on the inner world of schizophrenia. This early 20th century photograph captures a moment of pure joy. A young boy eagerly awaits his birthday gift, unaware that his father is holding his dream present, a small, fluffy white puppy. In an era before gadgets and toys, children found happiness in simple moments like this. Though we know little about the boy, the image conveys the excitement and happiness he must have felt at that precious moment. The dangers of early steam boilers. In the 19th century, steam boiler explosions were unfortunately common, often resulting in surreal and unsettling scenes. The first recorded steam boiler explosion occurred in 1813, when British engineer William Brunton attempted to increase the speed of his train by raising the steam pressure in the boiler. This led to a catastrophic explosion. After such incidents, the fire tubes, metallic pipes that channeled heat from the furnace to convert water into steam, would be ejected, often appearing as if the train had been attacked by a monstrous creature with metallic tentacles. These explosions highlighted the dangers of early steam technology, which lacked the safety measures of modern engineering. Smiles behind the darkness. The photograph shows a group of smiling young people, laughing and seemingly kind-hearted. However, there's a disturbing context behind it. These individuals were employees of a Nazi concentration camp, actively involved in the atrocities of the Holocaust. While it's crucial to recognize that not all workers in these camps were equally culpable, it's important to acknowledge the intense indoctrination and manipulation they endured under the Hitler regime. Nazi propaganda and the twisted ideology of racial superiority encouraged inhumane treatment of those considered non-Aryan. Though their actions can't be justified, this dark chapter in history serves as a stark reminder that each person must take responsibility for their actions, as no one has the right to take another life. The Mysterious Leather Man, a 19th century hermit. The Leather Man was one of the most famous hermits of the 19th century, known for his peculiar leather clothing that he crafted himself. Weighing 27 kilograms, his outfit included a shirt, pants, jacket, and boots. Despite his intimidating appearance, he was harmless and communicated in broken English, though he spoke fluent French. His route, a 600-kilometer walk between Connecticut and Hudson rivers, was followed for 32 years, with townspeople anticipating his arrival each year. He was found dead in a cave from oral cancer, and his grave in Sparta Cemetery was marked with the name Jewel Borgley. In 2011, his remains were exhumed but mysteriously disappeared, leaving only nails from the coffin. The Hidden Mother, Victorian Photography's secret solution. In the Victorian era, taking a photograph was a lengthy process, with exposures lasting 10 to 30 seconds. During this time, subjects had to stay completely still to avoid a blurry image. This was especially challenging for babies. To solve this, mothers would secretly hold their children during the long exposure, hidden behind heavy fabrics. This practice gave rise to the term hidden mother in early photography. While we can now see the hidden figure back then, it was the only way to capture a baby's portrait. A moment with genius. On a Reddit forum, a young woman shared a photograph of her grandfather standing alongside Albert Einstein, taken in New York in 1941, a year after Einstein gained American citizenship. Users marveled at the striking resemblance between her grandfather and the legendary physicist, noting how fortunate he was to have met and conversed with such a monumental figure. Einstein, often synonymous with the term genius, revolutionized our understanding of the universe with his groundbreaking theories, such as relativity, mass energy equivalence, and the photoelectric effect. His work not only reshaped physics, but also earned him over 300 scientific papers, honorary doctorates from prestigious universities, and a Nobel Prize in 1922. With such an iconic figure captured in the photograph, the young woman has every reason to take pride in this remarkable moment in history. The mysterious disappearance of the Joita yacht. On October 3, 1955, the Joita yacht set sail from Apia in western Samoa toward the Tokelau Islands, but never reached its destination. The luxury yacht, built in the early 1930s, had a storied history, serving as a Hollywood party vessel and later as a U.S. Navy patrol boat during WO2. In 1955, under the ownership of Thomas Miller, it was used to transport goods and passengers to Tokelau Islands. However, after departing with 25 people on board, the yacht was found 37 days later, 1,000 kilometers off course. The vessel was still running with a half-powered engine and had a noticeable tilt. Shockingly, there was no sign of the crew, passengers, or 4 tons of cargo. The lifeboats were gone, leading to the assumption that passengers had tried to escape, yet none were ever found. The fate of the Joita and its passengers remains one of maritime history's greatest mysteries. A moment of compassion in the midst of war. This photograph, taken during the Korean War, stands out among the many images of conflict and suffering. It captures a moment of unexpected tenderness amidst the brutality of war. American soldier Frank Piton, while on the battlefield, heard a faint squeak and discovered a small, blind kitten abandoned and alone. Without a second thought, Frank took the kitten into his care. In the photograph, he can be seen carefully feeding the kitten with a dropper, showing a rare moment of compassion in the midst of war. This act of kindness garnered widespread attention, and Frank became a symbol of humanity and compassion during the 1950s. The image serves as a reminder that even in the harshest times, acts of kindness can still prevail. Ronald McDonald, the mischievous clown mascot of McDonald's, has become a symbol of childhood joy. However, the first version of him, created in 1963, was far from the friendly face we know today. Designed by actor Willard Scott, who also played the popular Bozo the Clown, this original Ronald was downright eerie. With a food tray for a hat, hamburgers hanging from his belt, and a cup for a nose, his appearance resembled a creepy, offbeat character from The Wizard of Oz. While it may have been popular at the time, this version would surely send a chill down today's audience's spine. The isolator helmet, a 1920s solution for focus. In the 1920s, inventor Hugo Gernsback created a strange device called the isolator to help people focus on reading and writing amid distractions. The helmet was made of wood, lined with felt, and featured glass eyepieces and a sound-absorbing partition to block out noise. Oxygen was supplied through a tube to prevent suffocation. Designed to eliminate distractions, the isolator was an early attempt to solve the issue of focus, a problem that still persists today with modern technology. This whimsical invention is a fascinating glimpse into the past and an unusual answer to the challenges of concentration. The heartbreaking tale of the for sale children. In 1948, a chilling photograph appeared in American newspapers showing a woman named Lucille and her 4 children sitting on steps next to a sign that read, "For sale, 4 children." Lucille's husband had lost his job, and in desperation, they resorted to selling their children. Despite the disturbing nature of the photo, no one stepped in to help. 2 of the children, Anna and Milton, were purchased by a farmer couple, but their new life was one of abuse and hardship. Milton eventually retaliated against his stepfather, was sent to a psychiatric hospital, and later reconnected with his mother. Anna suffered further trauma and was sent to a shelter after being. The fates of the other 2 children remain unclear, though the older daughter, Sue, passed away in 1998. The youngest child, Bedford, was adopted at 9 months by the McDaniels family, who nurtured him back to health. Now living in Washington, Bedford helps raise his grandchildren, a stark contrast to the horrors his family endured. In the late 19th century, electricity was met with skepticism and fear. As the first power lines appeared on streets, many were wary of this new technology. A 1900 poster illustrated the opposition to electrification, spurred by a tragic event in 1889. John Fix, a lineman in Manhattan, was electrocuted while working, dying instantly in front of onlookers. This incident fueled fears about the dangers of electricity. Over time, however, skepticism faded. Doomstown, built in Nevada in the 1950s, was a replica, American town created for nuclear weapons testing. Designed to study the effects of blast waves and radiation, it was populated with mannequins posed in everyday activities, like eating or sleeping. The town was part of the Threshold program, where a nuclear bomb was detonated nearby to see how the town and its mannequins would react. The aftermath, captured in haunting photos and videos, shows the devastating impact of the explosion, offering a chilling look at the military's cold study of nuclear destruction. This shocking photograph depicts a mummy vendor from the early 20th century, a sight that would have been common in Egypt at the time. During this period, tomb raiders flooded the market with ancient Egyptian mummies and artifacts, selling them to wealthy buyers eager to own a piece of history. Mummies were even ground into powders and sold as supposed medicines in pharmacies. Hellish Cabaret. At the end of the 19th century, Paris was home to the Cabaret de l'Enfer, or Hellish Cabaret, a unique entertainment venue that opened in 1892 and was demolished in 1950. The cabaret's design was striking, with its entrance resembling the mouth of a wide-eyed demon, symbolizing a portal to hell. The exterior featured eerie drawings and sculptures, while inside, a grim atmosphere prevailed, with ominous music and walls resembling a cave. Sculptures on the ceiling depicted demons tormenting souls. This dark and creative venue became quite popular, inspiring a nearby cafe called Heaven, offering a stark contrast in ambiance. In 1970, a woman named Beverly Oliver came forward, claiming to be the mysterious Lady Babushka, who may have filmed the assassination of President Kennedy. She said she had been using a Yashica Super 8 camera on that fateful day, but the FBI quickly seized her footage. However, her story was riddled with inconsistencies. The camera model she mentioned wasn't available in 1963, and she was only 17 at the time, while the woman in the photo appeared to be around 40. Despite her claim, the true identity of Lady Babushka remains a mystery, and her footage never surfaced. The Amber Room, once housed in the Catherine Palace, is one of the most mysterious and legendary lost treasures in history. Originally commissioned by Frederick III of Prussia in the 18th century, the room was adorned with amber panels, precious stones, and intricate friezes crafted by German artisans. Peter the Great, impressed by this masterpiece during his visits to Prussia, was gifted the Amber Room by Frederick William I, though it was initially stored away for 25 years before being installed in the Winter Palace by Peter's daughter, Empress Elizabeth. Which of these photos amazed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this glimpse into the past, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more surprises.